Hey you guys, what's up? In today's video, I'm going to be trying out the brand new Anastasia Iced Out Highlighter. I literally just got this in the mail and I'm so excited to show you guys this highlighter. I'm going to be comparing this highlighter with a bunch of different highlighters to show you guys some more affordable options. I'm going to be doing like arm swatches of this highlighter compared to some other highlighters as well. And right now I actually have like 3 different highlighters on my face. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think the Anastasia highlighter is on this side or do you think it's on this side? I'm really curious to see what you guys think. I also have 2 different highlighters right here as well. So one is on the tip of my nose and then the other is like between my eyes. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below if you can guess which side is the Anastasia highlighter. So really quickly before we get started, I would really appreciate it if you would give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So before we actually do the demo with the highlighter on the face, let's go ahead and do some close-ups of the Iced Out highlighter. I'm going to tell you guys the price, show you guys a swatch, and then I'm also going to compare this to some other different highlighters. So here is the outer packaging of the Iced Out highlighter. I love the packaging. It is seriously gorgeous. And then here is like the actual packaging of the highlighter. I love that it has a white top and then you just push the little button to open. And then here is the highlighter. Honestly, like this is so pretty in the pan. I have not swatched it or anything yet. I am dying to see what this looks like, but I just love the way they did the pan. I think it looks so pretty, super sleek. So the price of this highlighter is $34 and you get 0.39 ounces in here. All right, moment of truth. I'm gonna go ahead and do a swatch of this. I was so scared to touch this. So it doesn't feel like super smooth or soft. Oh wow. So there is it on my finger. It's a lot more gold than I was imagining. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and swatch this on the arm. So there it is right there. That is like one layer of swatch. Hopefully you guys can see it well. It has really fine glitter in it. It is very pretty. Now I can kind of see how this will work on more skin tones because in the pan it just looks like a white highlighter that is not going to work for everyone. But when you actually swatch it, it is a lot more gold than it looks. I'm going to add another layer on top so we can really see it. So here is with the second layer. That is seriously so pretty. Okay, so now let's go ahead and compare some other highlighters to this one, and we'll see if we can find any that are matches. So we're going to start with more expensive highlighters. So this is the Huda Beauty 3D highlighter palette. This is the Pink Sands palette. So we're going to be comparing this shade right here called Santorini, which is also a white gold. So I'm just going to take a swatch of this one. This shade is obviously a lot smoother, and I feel like it's going to be more blinding. All right, so there we have Iced Out. Now I'm going to swatch Santorini. So there is Santorini next to Iced Out. Obviously Santorini is a lot more white than Iced Out, so that should show you guys how much deeper this shade is than this one, even though it looks so white in the pan. So even though this is not expensive, we're going to talk about the BH Cosmetics Blushing in Bali palette. This has 3 blush shades and 3 highlight shades. This palette is $16 and I wanted to include it because I'm obsessed with the highlighters, so we're going to go ahead and swatch this shade right here. I love how the cheapest highlighter so far is the most blinding. So there are the first 3 shades. I'm actually surprised that the ABH one is not as white gold as it looks. All right, next up we're going to swatch some Becca highlighters. These are $38 each. So first up we have the shade called Moonstone. So obviously like this one is not as blinding as these two. So I would say it's a little bit more similar to the ABH one, but the ABH one definitely has more like, I don't know, not like chunky glitter, but just more glitter than like this one. This one is more of like a pearl. So next up we have the white Becca highlighter and this is in the shade called Pearl. So there is that shade. We have not found one yet that is similar to the ABH one. Maybe Moonstone is pretty close, but it's not exact. I feel like Moonstone is more of a champagne and Iced Out is more of a gold. Next up I have 2 Ofra highlighters. This one is in the old packaging. So these are each $35. So first up we have the highlighter in the shade Beverly Hills, which is one of my all-time favorites. I think I'm going to take the gold shade up here and swatch this one. So there's the gold shade from the Beverly Hills highlighter. Still not too similar to Iced Out. I feel like Iced Out is very unique so far. Next I'm going to show you guys Glazed Donut, but I know this one is not going to even be close to the ABH one. I just grabbed a bunch because I wasn't sure exactly what it was going to look like. So there is Glazed Donut, much more of a white highlight. So next up we have this highlighter from the e.l.f. Retro Paradise collection, and this is in the shade Luna, and I believe this is probably going to be the closest to the ABH one out of all the ones that I've swatched so far. Hopefully you guys can see on camera, but this is like a white base highlighter with like gold glitter in it. It's kind of like a duochrome. So I feel like this one is going to be similar to the ABH one. So as you guys can see on my finger, when you swatch it, it is a lot more gold than it actually looks in the pan. Alright, so there is the e.l.f. one. I feel like that is so similar to the Anastasia one. I'm gonna have to swatch those side by side here in a second. I think I forgot to mention, but the price of the e.l.f. one is $10. So the last highlighter that we're gonna compare is the Soul Body Platinum Highlighter. So here's the Soul Body Highlighter. The price of this one is $14 and you get a huge pan. So let's go ahead and swatch this one. Alright, so there it is right there. These are very similar. So I'm going to go ahead and take these off, and then we're going to swatch the 3 closest shades. Alright, so we're going to be comparing these 3 highlighters because I feel like these 3 are the closest. So first, starting with Iced Out, I'm going to do 1 layer. I'll probably do a second round where I add a second layer. Alright, so there is Iced Out. Next up, we have e.l.f. Luna. Those are very similar. The e.l.f. one is just a little bit more glittery than the ABH one. The Anastasia one is definitely more of a smooth glitter, and the e.l.f. one is a little bit more of a chunky glitter, but for the price difference between these two, the shades are very, very similar. And lastly, we have the Soul Body Platinum. I'm gonna put it on this side so we can see them both like side by side with the Anastasia one. All right, so there's that one. So here are all 3 up close. They are all very similar, but they're definitely not exact dupes of each other. The Anastasia one is definitely like less glittery looking than these 2 highlighters. The Soul Body one compared to the Anastasia one is a lot more of like a white gold. So now I'm gonna add a second layer to each of these. So here are all 3 shades again with another layer added. I feel like they're all very similar, and I feel like you could get away with using any of these to get this type of effect. Like I feel like on the face they're going to look like very similar. So let's go ahead and do that now. Let's test out all 3 of these on the face. So now I'm going to be trying out the highlighter on the face. So I'm going to be doing the Anastasia highlighter on this side of my face, and then I'm going to be kind of like combining the e.l.f. and then the Soul Body highlighter on this side just to see if we can create like the same kind of look. So good thing I have a lot of highlighter brushes. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit of the Anastasia highlighter on a brush. That's actually like so much more gold than I really was imagining it to be. And it's honestly like not a super blinding highlighter, but it's actually like really pretty. All right, so here, hopefully you guys can see this, is the Anastasia highlighter. Definitely very pretty. I can see how this works on different skin tones since it is so gold. Like it's definitely not like a white highlighter like it looks in the pan. So this is pretty like deceiving. I thought it was going to be a lot lighter, but it's like really gold. All right, now let me switch brushes and let's pick up maybe some of the, let's try the e.l.f. one first because I feel like this one is very similar. So I'm just going to pick up the e.l.f. one on a different brush, and this one's a little bit more like chunky. And I'm just going to start applying this over here. Oh, this one falls everywhere. I feel like the e.l.f. one shows up a little bit more, like it's a little bit more blinding, and it has that same kind of like gold duochrome effect. Well, let's get the hair out of the way. Let me get a little closer. Here is the Anastasia highlighter, very pretty, not too glittery looking, and then here is the e.l.f. one. This one is definitely more of like a chunky glitter for sure. So let me clean this brush off, and I'm gonna add a little bit of the Soul Body Platinum highlighter on this side. Here we have Anastasia, and then here we have the e.l.f. in the Soul Body. Obviously this one is more blinding because it has 2 highlighters on it, but just in general I feel like both of those are more blinding than the Anastasia one. So if you like a more natural looking highlight, you might like this Anastasia one better, but I'm going to add a little bit more because I like a really bright highlighter. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to add the Anastasia one to like the tip of my nose. Then I'm going to mix together the Soul Body highlight and the e.l.f. one, and we're going to highlight right here. Yeah, the e.l.f. one is like pretty chunky. I remember liking this highlight, but now that I see it compared to the Anastasia one, it's definitely like a very chunky type glitter highlighter. All right, let me look at my face up close here. Okay, so after looking up close, I feel like the Anastasia one does actually look better. Like it's definitely a lot smoother. I just feel like overall it looks nicer than these two highlighters together because I just feel like these two are pretty like chunky compared to the Anastasia one. The Iced Out highlighter is definitely very smooth, and I just like the way that it looks better than the other ones. Now the Anastasia one is more than triple the price of the e.l.f. one, and then about a little bit more than double of the Soul Body one. Do I think it's worth that much more than these two? Maybe not. Maybe for like the packaging and how it looks, I would say, yeah, actually, it is a really pretty highlighter. But if you are on a budget and you do not want to spend like almost $35 on a highlighter, you can get the same kind of effect with these two. One more time, I'm going to put all three on my fingers. So I'm going to take the Anastasia one on my pointer finger, and then maybe the e.l.f. on my middle, and the Soul Body on my ring. All right, so here are all three highlighters. Obviously, they look very similar. So here are all three of the highlighters. So if you are not worried about the price of the highlighter and you like Anastasia, you like the packaging, definitely I would suggest getting the Iced Out highlighter. I feel like it's the best quality out of all three of these. But if you want like a very similar like type highlight as far as color goes, then the e.l.f. one will probably be good for you. I feel like those two shades are very similar. But if you want a more affordable highlighter that is similar in color to the Anastasia one but not so chunky like the e.l.f. one, then I would definitely recommend the Soul Body Platinum highlighter. This one is gorgeous, and it's a lot smoother than the e.l.f. one, which you guys can see just on my fingers. The e.l.f. one is pretty chunky, but yeah, there are all three of the highlighters. So I am really excited to have this highlighter in my collection since I don't have any like Anastasia single highlighters. I've always wanted one, and I do really like how this one looks. I like the shade. I don't see myself using this kind of shade like on an everyday basis. It is a little bit more gold than I would normally go for. Normally, I like a champagne type highlighter, which is like kind of gold, but a little bit more of like a white gold because I am pretty fair. I feel like once I do like a self-tan or something, then I will like this highlighter a little bit more. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What do you guys think about these two highlighters compared to the Anastasia one? Are you guys going to pick up the Iced Out highlighter? So yeah, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Also, make sure you guys have your notifications turned on. That way you don't miss out on any of my future videos. All you have to do is click the bell next to the subscribe button, and then you'll receive a notification every time I upload a new video. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.